Army, who laid out the history of how police departments started, and I think something Jeremy said about the everyday harassment is something that needs to be on our mind. One of the reasons that we have police departments across this country who harass people, who arrest people unfairly, who beat people up, and who, yes, kill people, is because too many of those of us who are white have seen it happen disproportionately to people of color, brown and black people around this country, and have said, you know what, that's not my issue. So now the police come to the Occupies, and they're beating up everybody, right? And suddenly, because some of us maybe have been silent in the past, the police are unleashing on us all. If that is not incentive for those of us who are white, besides caring about our sisters and brothers of color, to say, wow, we need to start standing up against what has been a history of abuse primarily targeted at people of color in this country. White privilege in this country means I am less likely to get picked up because I'm in the wrong neighborhood. I am less likely to be stopped because I am on the wrong street or at the wrong time of day. I am less likely to get dragged out of a place and beaten up, and I am less likely to be murdered by the police.
That's right.
If we're not standing together, we will continue to have police departments that are out of control. And in Central America, there is a tradition when we're honoring people who have been killed, and predominantly this was during the movements when the U.S. was supporting dictatorships in Central America who were regularly murdering their own people, there would be a call and response. We'd call out the name, and folks would say presente. That means they are present. Honoring the celebration of the Day of the Dead, and honoring the people in Louisville who have been murdered by the police over the past few years, I am going to call out the names, and if you would answer presente. These are unarmed black men who were shot by police during the past decade, a struggle which, despite some people saying that's not a fairness issue, we said, oh yes it is, because if we're fighting for human rights, that means all of us.
Thank you, Polly.
Desmond Rudolph.
Presente.
Marshall Marby.
Presente.
Rodney Abernathy.
Presente.
Clifford Lewis.
Presente.
Antoine Bryan.
Presente.
James Taylor.
Presente.
Michael Newby.
Presente.
Adrian Reynolds.
Presente.
Thank you. Ann Braden told those of us who are white that she, as a white woman, was born into a racist society, and that unless she resisted racism, she would remain in what was her own psychological, spiritual prison by remaining somebody who, by not acting, is not being anti-racist. Bob Cunningham, who some of you know, a long-time anti-racist, he always says, it's not enough. And he says it with love, but he says it's not enough to be unracist or to be non-racist. You hear people all the time, oh, well, I don't say that. And oh, well, I have friends. These times call for us to be anti-racist. Right. And that means taking action together. Thank you.
Right.